What's up, people? It's another edition of the New Breed Podcast, world's best new metal adjacent podcast from two dudes who are really there. I'm one half of your hosting to it, Jay Horsecow. With me, I have my partner in crime, the notorious TIM, Tim Anderson Jr. Tim, how's it going?
Great. Since we
And,
always talk about the weather at first, I'm
okay.
so fucking sick of this wind. You have no idea. I can't take it
Uh, I,
anymore.
I am just, dude, I'll take the win for now. I am just happy that the ice is melting
Oh
because my
yeah.
yard is treacherous. I can't get down my own driveway. My poor dogs, like they've got the worst cabin fever because I can't run them. Today, I actually got to have them outside for a little bit. They were so excited. Bring on the just hopefully after this weekend, after fucking Valentine's Day, it heats up and that's all gone.
I can't stand this wind, man.
It's
Ruins everything.
it's something else when you get the draft come down in 5 minutes. All right, people, what are we talking about this week? So this week we're doing another deep dive. We're not doing new metal, but we are doing an album that is unquestionably one of the most influential albums come out of the late 90s, early 2000s by a band that has yet to fall into the reunion trap. Which is comprised of members that have gone on to do amazing things. Have you figured it out yet? Have you figured it out? Well, the band in question is Milwaukee-based Seven Angels, Seven Plagues. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a deep dive tonight. Tim and I put in some legwork, put in some elbow grease, scouring the internet to find some information about their 2001 album, Jhazmyne's Lullaby. This was the only full-length studio album that they did. The band broke up soon after, but it is unquestionable the amount of influence that this band put on the metalcore scene. There's so much we can talk about. So Tim, I'm going to start with, when did you first discover this band and how did you discover them?
Um, all right, so back in around when probably opposite of December came out, I remember comps used to be huge back then. If you're of
Hmm.
our age, you know what a comp is.
Yep.
And hardcore metalcore comps were fucking huge back then. I mean, all the labels were putting them out. They were everywhere. And I remember they were on this one comp. I forget what song it was. And I was like, okay, this is incredible. Because back then, like I said, I brought up Poison the Well. That was like the big thing back then. Opposite of Summer was huge.
Hmm.
So everybody's looking for bands like that. Then you find Jasmine's Lullaby, and it's just like, dude, what's the better record at this point? Like back then, it's just like them two records are so like synonymous with each other for me. It's always been like that one thing where it's just like I kind of think they're the two most influential metalcore records of all time in that
And it
genre.
makes and it makes you wonder what had happened if they hadn't broken up.
Yeah.
Right? Because that sound is, and we'll get into some of the misery and misery signal stuff. That sound paid itself forward. So everybody, uh, first you're going to put yourself in the time that is 2001. This is, you have metallic hardcore in the late 90s was politically, it was very politically minded. It was raw, it's kind of abrasive. And then when you look to what happens in the early to mid aughts, like 2000s, aught 4 and 5, aught 6, it becomes very polished, very melodic. This is As I Lay Dying. This is after the not after the barrel, As I Lay Dying and Winter Solstice and all that stuff, where it's way more polished and way more commercial. But in that weird interregnum between the two, you have this band which pops up. And I first found this band through Very Distro. I got a catalog
Yeah.
and just the summary sounded great. And I bought it and I was blown away. Bought it from it was either Very Distro or Lumberjack. I think it was whatever, one of those. And I gave it to little Bobby and he stole it for months, I think, and eventually I got it back. Great. I just remember being so amazed that these guys made this sound and it sounded so different. And not only different, but the musicianship is there, the polish is there. And then when they broke up, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's like, of course. Why wouldn't they?
That this band has now replaced, I think, Turmoil for me as one of those, hey, I want to see a full-on reunion. It's like a short list of five bands that I would like, the five reunions I'd like to see most. We could probably do an episode about that. But this one's up there. This one's up there.
Yeah,
And
we should do an episode on that's a good it's a good idea actually.
yeah, top 10 reunions I'd like to see. All right, we're gonna make a note of that and come back to it. Okay, so this album comes out in 2001, and this is where the shift can be boiled down to, where it goes from the raw to the polish, right? And we start to end up with bands that truly do have some really amazing technical chops. And this was This was, I mean, you could even consider this technical metalcore, almost some mathcore bits at certain points with some of the starts and stops. But there is, I don't want to say emo because that, oh, you say that word and everybody gets this picture in their head and their heads go kind of screwy. But there was emotion with this stuff, and we'll talk about the title track in a bit. It just there was. It always is impressive how bands that play in a very heavy and a very abrasive medium find a way to portray emotion when you wouldn't think that'd be possible in something so abrasive and aggressive is what we like.
Yeah, and I have to make a point here too. Jhazmyne's wasn't the first thing I heard from them. It was the EP because
What
that
is it? When the day until the day breathes and the shadows flee. Yes.
yeah, because Jhazmyne's wasn't out at the same time as Opposite of December. They were putting the EP stuff out there, and there was like demo tracks that you could find on Soulseek and all that stuff. But then Jhazmyne's came out like what was that, 2 years later?
Yeah. One. So 2000 was Until the Day Breathes and the Shadows Flee, and then it was Jhazmyne's in 2001.
Yeah. Okay.
So
That
soon
what
after,
that
but I think they were it was like early year, late year, I think. Yeah.
what that come out on? Uprising?
I think it was Uprising. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about the label and all that. Before we get to that, Tim, let's talk about how this band actually comes together. So for those that don't know, this band was actually the brainchild of the drummer, Jared Logan, the percussionist. And he was in the band Cast Ahead with Matt Matera, who's the guitar player, and Kyle Johnson, who's the bass player. And when that band broke up, Jared cobbled together this group from those two dudes, but and a bunch of other guys from another band that had broken up. The name was Intercede. So this is where Ryan Morgan, the guitarist, shows up, and Temo Rios. I forget his full name. It's not Temo. It's some really actually cool name. So he was the vocalist of Intercede. So these guys all get together and they form this quasi super band. And when I saw some of the interviews and some of the articles, Jared Logan was stated that he was looking to explore some of the rhythmic complexity that of stuff that he was playing in mathcore, but also adding some the quote unquote is melodic sophistication. And you have we're in Wisconsin, right? So we have Milwaukee and you have Cast Ahead, and then in Racine you had the other band, which was Intercede. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Cast Ahead was Racine. I'm sorry, I have it backwards. Um, Intercede was the other side of it. So you have these guys that get together from these two bands that broke up, and they form this new thing, and they're going, and actually Kyle Johnson, who I just mentioned, joined 6 months after they get started, and that solidifies their rhythm section. And that this was the rhythm section that carried the band all the way through touring and live shows and the album and eventual dissolution. The original vocalist departs in 2000, so he did a year or two. He did the EP Until the Day Breathes and the Shadows Flee. He leaves and they bring in Matt Mixon, who I'm sorry, I'm partial to his vocals over the other guy. I think they just sound much more raw. And he has that growl that comes across really, really well. And he stuck around for a while. And when he leaves, they end up replacing him with Jesse Zaraska, which we're going to get to in a moment. But all this is to say that this was a band cobbled together by Jared Logan looking to do some different things. He grabbed some different people and they put all this stuff together. And when they put it all in a blender, the first thing that comes out is like Tim said, Uprising Records, 2000, Until the Day Breathes, The Shadows Flee. Tim, is this on streaming? Do we know?
Let me look.
Well, you look on Apple, I'll look on the Spotify's, and we'll see who is actually streaming this. I think it is, but I am not sure. Seven Angels, Seven Plagues.
Yeah, it's up here.
It's on Spotify. I see Jazz's Lullaby and I see the EP.
Yeah, they're both up here.
Kind of wild. Okay, so the EP, I think the big difference with the EP between the LP is it's very raw. And you can see the beginnings of that sound where they have these really, really frantic transition parts. And it's abrasive, but then there's that emotion, the emo part of it, the melancholy, which you can still hear. And I think, if I remember correctly, based on my research, when this came out, everybody in the scene was kind of like, huh, this is something. These guys are doing something different. We got to get on this. And so interesting tie here. Jared Logan reaches out to the label owner of Uprising Records, which is Sean Mutaki, in April 2000. And at that point, Uprising had done Race Trader and Up in Arms.
Oh, that
Race
Race
Trader,
Trader
that
record is great.
the first couple are unbelievable. And one of the interesting things when I did the digging is they weren't just talking music, they were talking religion, politics, the future and past of hardcore. Eventually, Tim and I are going to do a deep dive on Hardline. And there is a book I've got over there on the shelf somewhere, which is the history of Hardline. And Sean Mutaki is one of the founding guys of that mindset, aesthetic, whatever. He was one of the big names behind pushing that. That was more extreme fringe of the straight edge scene that fizzled itself out.
Mm.
Interesting conversation. We'll have that eventually. But anyway, they have this long conversation about all these different topics, and they come to realize that they enjoy each other's company and they want to work together. And this now gives the band the space they need and the platform they need to dive into doing to doing a full length LP. We got to talk about that Race Trader album at some point. Did you interview him
Dude.
as part of Ill Street?
Yeah, Manny. Yeah.
Manny, yeah. That
Super cool,
first
dude.
album that they did, there was what was the name of that? It's Race
Oh, shit.
Trader. It's here we go. I can picture the cover. I can never remember the name. It is no, I don't want to open it on Spotify because it'll be stuck here for 20 minutes while it opens. It is Burn the Idol of the White Messiah.
Yep.
Great, great album. And then they did the Invisible Battles Against Invisible Fortresses, and they did the last LP, which is 2042, which I didn't really like, but
I
whatever.
didn't really care for that one either.
But I thought Burn the Idol of the White Messiah is fantastic. And that reunion set they did at This Is Hardcore was great.
Yeah.
Great. And Andy Hurley drumming. Andy Hurley from Fall Out Boy. Anyway, we digress. The band is now going into the studio. They recorded at this place called Bionic Studios in Milwaukee. And the producer is Christian Riley, whose nickname is Chin. And he recorded it under Chin Core Productions, which I think is kind of amusing. And what he was trying to do when I did the digging as the producer was he was really just trying to capture the musicianship and the guitar sound that they were creating. He really wasn't going in and poking and prodding and saying, well, you should add this, you should take this away, which is kind of cool. Auditorially caught that they're different and they're doing different things than the more formulaic stuff that was being done at the time. And that is what really told him, like, hey, I want to get in on this. So my screen just refreshed. There we go. So he's recording this. And the big thing that comes out of this album, which I think anybody who's heard this album, by the way, if you haven't heard it, please pause the episode and go listen to it. The big thing that comes away is the guitar interplay, the almost dueling guitars between Matt Matera and Ryan Morgan. And while these two guitars are dueling and they're doing these different things, you have the rhythm section coming in behind with just moving it forward, moving it forward, moving it forward.
Oh yeah, dude. The rhythm section on this record is incredible. Dude, just the first track is just chock full of fucking just amazing fucking drumming. The musicianship on
Mm-hmm.
just the first track blows you away.
Yes, yes. The drumming is the thing that always catches me, which he's an amazing drummer. We're going to talk about some of the stuff Jared's got on to do afterwards. One of the interesting things about this production was the first 8 tracks, 1 through 8, they were engineered by Chin at Bionic Studios. But the final track was Jhazmyne's Lullaby. Jared Logan engineered that himself at the Miramar Theater. And there was anybody who's heard the album will know that there was a very heavy piano focus in the arrangement. And that was very, very different at the time. At the time, there's a band experimenting with non-standard hardcore instrumentation in what amounts to a hardcore / metalcore album. And it's very, very different. That's what catches me. The piano pieces.
Well, it fits the whole record because the whole record is super, like, what's that word? Well, you brought it up earlier. It's like a super, like one of them super passionate records where you
It's
just,
emotive. There's
yeah,
emotion
there
there.
you go.
Yeah, yeah. Melancholy is a word that I saw that was used to describe, which I actually think fits because it's not emotion in a happy way, emotion in a more somber way.
Yeah.
So when we think about the album and how it was recorded and the sounds and where those sounds have moved on since, there's a couple things we got to call out. So first of all, with the guitars, there's a very very high gain on the guitars. You can hear that. You can hear it when you listen to it. So while the sound is very gritty, but it's also precise. And the two guitars that weave in and out of each other, and you'll see this come back. This trend comes back, and I would argue probably one of the most popular bands of this type of metalcore, which is Misery Signals, which comes from a lot of these members. So you have guitars that dual weave in and out of each other. You have a very very interesting syncopation in the drumming. The time signatures are really kind of complex, almost mathcore ish, which avoid the boredom. Right, you're bordering on like botch type territory where they're doing different things, they're doing all sorts of time changes. The bass itself, it's very punchy, but it sits in the middle, so it definitely weighs in that mid range mix, and it's clear you can hear it, but it doesn't overpower. The rhythm
Yeah.
section never overpowers.
Yeah, the record's not overproduced, but it's not underproduced either. It's like
Yes.
super, it almost has like a boxy sound to it, if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
Like the kick drum is super boxy, but it fucking works.
It it sits right. I mean, to use the term right in the pocket, it sits
Yeah,
right in the
yeah,
pocket
yeah.
where it's,
That's a
you're
good,
right.
yeah.
Because, and we could do a whole episode, Tim, on albums that have been underproduced, where the producer just let them take too much reign and a couple little tweaks, knobs, and polish. That would be a good conversation to have with Hunter. What albums in his experience does he think, if given the chance to produce it himself, he would do it differently? Because there are a lot of albums out there where the producer probably should have taken a little bit more effort.
Yeah, I kind of think he would say that what gives it its sound, though. Hunter seems like the type of dude, like, yeah, he's a great at producing records, but I kind of feel like he'd be like, yeah, but that's why the record's great. You know what I mean?
Fair, fair, fair. He's also,
Yeah,
he knows more than us. He's not the sniping fan. He's actually the guy
yeah,
behind
yeah.
the console pulling the knobs. And lastly, let's talk about the vocals, where it's very throaty growls. There is occasionally some melody there, which helps portray the melancholy that seeps out with each song. And the 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 guitars, there's some breakdowns here thrown in, which are fantastic, and it helps to build tension by how they weave the guitars together into the breakdowns. Where, not to say that you can't see them coming, because the breakdown is one of the most predictable things in the world, but a lot like the New York Jets collapsing during the regular season. But they just did something different with it. They just did something different with it that made it interesting.
Yeah, I think one of the best parts of this record, and you hear this in the Misery single stuff later on, they don't really repeat many parts in these songs. It's a
Mm-mm.
lot of just straight ass beater riffs. And then all of a sudden they pull this melodic ass beautiful part out of nowhere. And then it just moshes you to death.
Yep.
Like it's
Hmm.
like, to me, like, I always listen to this record and I'm like, dude, this could be like in what would we call this? This is like metalcore, metallic hardcore or whatever.
This
Not
is I
hardcore,
actually
but
think this is metallic hardcore. I put them more towards hardcore than metal. That's where
eh,
I would weight it.
yeah, I just think like this record, like, way above its time. You know what I mean? This
Yes.
this is way
Yes.
above its
Yes.
time. And then the more that I can hear it in my head, it's like I do hear that mathcore stuff now and there.
Yeah. This is an episode that when we're done recording, when I go upstairs to go to bed, I'm going to put a pair of headphones on and put this album in and just let my mind wander. I think, Tim, we've talked about the sounds. We've talked about how the instruments interplay with each other. We would be remiss if we didn't talk about the artwork.
Yeah, yeah.
So the visual aesthetic is very, very unique. I learned by doing my digging that the album art was designed by Martin Defet from Gorilla Digital, and it was a conscious homage to Miles Davis and his Blue Note style, which is funny because if you remember what metalcore albums look like in the 2000s, it did not look like this. This was very simple, very, very clean. It was almost like artwork, like fine art. in the sense that you have a picture of the drummer on the cover, and then you have the text across the bottom where you have the band and the album name and the members, and it's just very, very visually pleasing because it's not heavy. And they talked, and the band in interviews was talked about the influences they had on jazz music had on their technicality and how they approached some of their music. So it definitely made sense. I did see some article where they talked about how this band was called Fashion Core early on, and I'm like, what?
Nah.
I got to find the reference. Wait a minute, where was that? I wrote it down. It was Oh, that was the reference was from Reddit. There we go. It's
Ugh.
some half wit. So not fashion core, but also it's aesthetically beautiful, good music, time changes, kind of frantic. It's not just mosh parts. It's not just mosh parts.
Yeah, a lot of
And
it is super, super high tempo. There's a lot of high tempo parts that, and then they just, like I said before, they just go right into something heavy. Like it comes, like this is one of them records that, like you don't like the first time you hear it, you have no clue what to expect because it's just all over the place, but it's like
yes,
perfectly composed.
the uh the song that starts the piano intro, "Away with Words," best song on the album because they
Wow.
mirror the piano in the guitar riffs, which is fantastic. Tim, let's take a step back and let's look at what the world looked like in 2001, right? What the world in metalcore looked like in 2001. Because I think we need to contextualize where this album sits comparative to their peers, some of the other bands that didn't do a one and done, but actually carried on and did some more stuff, and what the soundscapes were like at the time. So I got a list here of 5 other albums that came out at the same time where it was bands moving from the quote unquote metallic hardcore of Earth Crisis, which had already been established by that point. It was almost the reigning sound, into something a little bit different. So when you think of Seven Angel, Seven Plagues peers, who put out stuff in either anywhere from 99 to 2002, right? We'll give it a little bit of a bracket. Comparatively, we have Converge with Jane Doe,
Mm.
which is just as technical but way more dissonant and abrasive. And that I mean, how can we compare? You can't compare it to any. I would
That's one of the greatest metalcore records of all time.
I would love to deep dive on it, but I don't because everybody's talked about it to death. I just love it album. Back to the band that you just mentioned. In 2002, Poison the Well puts out Tear from the Red. So this is that emotion, that also Midwest intensity tied into a Florida band. Very,
Listen,
very much melodic metalcore.
I'm gonna interject here. If Tear from the Red had the recording of Opposite, it's a better record.
I think we've had this discussion.
We
I think
probably
we've
did.
definitely had this discussion.
I think Tear from the Red has really, really good songs on it, but goddamn, do I hate the fucking production on that record. It sounds awful. Like, come on, man. Give me more kick. It's
I'm
flat
gonna go
as
back and
hell.
listen to it. I'm gonna go back and listen to it. You're gonna make me hate an album that I love. The next band that was contemporaries, 99, Botch puts out We Are the Romans. So this is a
Mm.
very, very, very influential on that same technicality that you hear from Seven Angels, Seven Plagues. In 2000, Long Island's own Sky Came Falling puts out 10.21,
That's a masterpiece.
which comparatively, you've got a lot of really brilliant, clean passages, and you've also got that melancholy, right? That melancholy, that word's back because it sticks in again. You hear it specifically in this album. And the last one that I'm going to say is their contemporary, which is kind of wild. 2002, The Changing of the Times by Under Oath. I actually
Oh,
just
hell yeah.
listened to this album. This was melodic metalcore
Incredible
slash
record.
emo. This was them moving away from their death metal-y type sound, Cries of the Damned, into the more commercial and attainable sound. By the way, did you listen to the interview the drummer did with Toby Morse on One
No,
Life,
I
One
didn't.
Chance? It's actually a really good interview. He
Who's
talks
what's his name again?
Aaron, I want to say Aaron Gillespie.
Gillespie. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It was really, really good. He talks about the early band days and his life and in and out of Christianity and how he left and how the band kind of went on pause and how they started again. It's really, really cool. He's an
Did
interesting dude. He's got a lot to say.
he talks about the first two records?
Yeah, he touches on it. Yeah, they walk through the band and how the changing of the times gets mentioned. They really lean into They're Only Chasing Safety, which is the album that blows them up.
That I'm sorry, dude. That is a top 10 record for me. That record is absolutely flawless.
At this point, I had checked out. I will take your word for it. I
Yeah,
remember hearing
dude.
it, but it didn't resonate with me.
That go back and listen to that record, but go back and listen to it with an open mind and just remember that you're not listening to like something brutal and heavy. Like if you're into stuff like that, that record is fucking flawless. Every song on it is good. It is masterfully written. I mean, that is an amazing record. Might
I'll go
be
back. I'll go back.
it might be in that time frame. I don't think there's a better produced or written record in that. I mean, obviously there is, but like maybe that year. What year did that come out? 2004.
2002, 2000. Oh, yeah, that was '04.
I mean, dude, we should probably go back and see, or I'll go back and look what records came out then. But that record is absolutely incredible. It's one of them records that's like instant like earworms, and it's so good.
I will go back and give it an honest listen and report back what I think.
I had to buy the record twice because I beat the CD to death. It wouldn't play anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, it's that
Jeez.
good, dude. Seriously.
Jeez.
I
Learn from
just
that.
love the first four Under Oath records are just they're all great. After that, I'm like, but
I mean, you got to do something. The taste got to change. Back to Seven Angels, Seven Plagues. In an interview, I saw that they were trying to they were revolting against the sugarcoating of metalcore, which was going on, which led to metalcore being the big commercial juggernaut that it is. Again, as I lay dying, and they kept they purposely played with a violent type of energy, which made you pay attention to them. And with that, they incorporated at the same time interludes, acoustic solos, stuff that was different for metalcore at the time. There is a live recording of the Robot Mosh Fest in somewhere up there, somewhere up in the upper Midwest, and I have yet to find a copy of it because they play a song on that, and it's like one of those like lost DVDs nobody can find. And if anybody listening has a copy of it, I do look on BitTorrent sites. I look on SoulSeek all the time trying to find it. So if anybody's going to copy, reach out.
I have the VHS of them from shit. What's it called? I have a VHS in my closet. I should have fucking brought it down. It's in the kids' room though, so I don't want to wake them up. But I forget what it's called. It's white cover. It's white and black. If
Okay.
you Google it, you could probably find it. It has like Bludgeon on it, Seven Angels.
I
It's
am
it's shot from behind the drummer.
okay.
It's fucking Hugs and Chugs. Google that real quick. Hugs and Chugs, and see if I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, or something
Hugs
like
and
that.
Chugs 2001
Maybe I have a VHS of it though.
VHS compilation. Hold on.
You find it?
Hugs and Chugs. One Forever is Forgotten. Today I Wait. End This Day. Seven Angels, Seven Plagues.
Yeah.
Caliban, Bludgeon. For Dire Life's Sake. Kill the Slave Master.
Yeah,
Dude, you gotta get that. Somebody, you gotta find a company that'll rip that for you.
dude, it might be on YouTube.
You know what? Let's do some vamping here. We're gonna go to the YouTubes and we're gonna go to Hugs and Chugs.
I have a
What?
VHS player, but I don't know how to rip it
Yes,
onto.
the full tape is on there.
There
Yep.
you go. All right, so it's done
Uh,
for us.
all right. But what about Robot Mosh Fest? I want Robot Mosh Fest 2002. Now, there's a
Damn,
bunch of different sets from the different years, but there was a DVD that they put out in 2002 that had everything.
I wonder. I forgot about End This Day being on that. That's another band people you listen to. That was
Yep.
members.
Yep.
So
But, all right, back to Seven Angels, Seven Plagues. Album comes out September 18th, 2001. So right after September 11th. I forgot it was right about that time. And immediately it gets all this acclaim. So the underground loves it. The mainstream music press that covers this type of music loves it. It was recognized as a quote unquote definitive release, and it's for a lot of critics and a lot of people, it's up there with Botch's "We Are the Romans" as one of those really, really influential metalcore albums. And what makes it stand out is not just the jazz influence, but there was a lot of remarks made about Matthew Mixon's vocal performance because he sounded new, right? That like hoarse stuff, it's a hoarse, like throaty, sounded different, and it didn't sound like just the generic shouting that you'd hear in a lot of metalcore. The dual guitar work, the drum work, as the records were cited as the records. These are the things that really stood out for a lot of people. And the heavy soft dynamics. We talked about the piano interlude, which leads right into "Away with Words,"
Oh
which
yeah.
is just unbelievably amazing. And the inclusion of the piano and the inclusion of like acoustic guitar. This was different. And for an aggressive metalcore scene, this was viewed as something which really challenges preconceived notions of what is acceptable and what we get away with, because we're just trying to do something different. The only criticism I saw when I did some digging from reviews at the time that seemed persistent was the bass was kind of low in the mix and droned out.
Eh.
And while it was punchy and audible, it's it kind of lags behind the guitar mix, which I guess I understand.
I think people need to re-listen to it because you
I
can
would
hear that shit.
you're going to send me. I'm going to be up late trying to find a pirated copy of Robot Mosh Fest and live shows. So this band is well known for their incredible live performances. They toured all over the place. The shit was violent. It was wild. A lot of mosh pits, a lot of dancing. The breakdowns sent people nuts. They were a big band in the Midwest, especially. Like they were the hometown heroes that everybody thought was going to be big and make good. And it brought a lot of people into metal. It brought a lot of people into hardcore. And this is where things kind of go south because the world goes out from one of them. Matthew Mixon leaves the band. Timo Rimos takes over as singer again. They're touring, and in 2002, they were on tour with Compromise, which was a Canadian band, and they were in a what amounts to a tragic accident outside of Savannah, Georgia, where I think it was the guitarist and maybe the singer and the drummer of Compromise were killed.
Yeah.
And this basically undoes the band. And if anybody's watched the Misery Signals documentary,
Which is
um,
incredible, by the way.
which is unbelievable about the first reunion they did and how nervous they were going to be. Was it going to work? They talk about that a lot. And the year summer ended in June. The first big Misery Signals song is about this accident. But this this basically
What's that called,
it's
Jay? Yesterday was everything.
yes. I think that's still on my Plex server. I think.
I
Yeah,
think it is.
great,
Yeah, I definitely
great
watched it
movie.
on there.
And so when two of your friends die in an accident, in a bus, in a van while you're touring with them, it's definitely going to leave some scars. And
Not to
as
change the
a,
subject. I'm sorry, I keep doing this. Talking about misery signals. If you are into misery signals, go onto YouTube and fucking search the Rain City
oh,
session,
the Rain X session is
dude.
unbelievable.
That is one of the best sounding live sessions I've ever heard in my life.
Yes.
Incredible.
Yes.
It sounds so goddamn good, man.
You know what? It really is kind of impressive how easy it is to get a great live recording. You know what one that came out not recently, but the last couple of years that I always go back to? The Zayo recording they did in that church
Oh yeah,
sounds
yeah. It sounds great.
unbelievable. Unbelievable. Back to the morbid task at hand. Again, the Compromise loses two members. The singer that came back, Timo Rios, he quits. He leaves. It's not for him anymore, and he leaves in July 2002, and he's replaced by Jesse Zaraska, who's the vocalist for Compromise. And Zaraska shows up and he sings with them. They played Furnace Fest 2002, but eventually the band kind of falls apart. Jared Logan leaves with a sudden change of heart in late 2002, and the band officially dissolves. Which the really sad part is I learned that right as he left, the band had decided that they were all going to leave school and concentrate on doing it full time. So imagine like making that decision, then all of a sudden the guy who put the band together to begin with, the rhythmic backbone, just up and quits. So
Who did I have on Ill Street from Seven Angels? Was that Matt? Was that Matera?
I think it was Matt Matera. I think.
I'll have to re-listen to that episode. I could send it to you if you need it.
Yeah,
I
well,
have
I'll
it.
listen to that again. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll have
yeah.
to listen. Yeah, I'll have to send that to you. I have it on my hard drive.
And so what happens after this, right? You have Seven Angels, Seven Plagues goes by the wayside, and what comes out of the ashes is arguably one of the biggest metalcore bands to ever exist in the genre, Misery Signals. So they form in the fall of 2002. They do that self-titled EP, which is brilliant,
Yeah,
still brilliant. And they they go into the studio, and I believe they're on Ferret at this point, and they record Of Malice and the Magnum Heart. Devin Townsend, show favorite, is their producer. Ryan Morgan, his guitar work just gets better and better and better. I
dude,
believe they
so
have
good.
his brother is the drummer.
Yeah,
Yes,
yep.
and I will say, he was very young when he started, and he was kind of sloppy. But now
Dude's a
they are a
machine.
tightly oiled machine. And
You'll see
adding
that in Rain
Jesse,
City. If you watch Rain
yes.
City, dude, them two are
Oh, he's
incredible.
dialed in. He's dialed in. And the other guitarist is Stu from what was it, Comeback
Comeback
Kid?
Kid, yeah.
And Jesse's vocals, his Jesse's vocals add a bit of that emotional intensity, that melancholy. Because I mean, look at what he's dealing with. He's dealing with his band blew up because two of the members were killed in an accident. So um that what's the word I'm looking for here? Not essence, not vitality. That sense of urgency comes across in his vocal delivery. And when you compare Seven Angels and Misery Signals, you can see how there's enough shared, but there's enough difference. So Seven Angels is very mathcore, melodic hardcore, whereas Misery Signals gets melodic hardcore, technical hardcore, way more into the metalcore side. You have your throaty growls, which we talked about already with Matt Mixon, moving to these layered screams, more emotional, coming from Jesse Zaraska. There's Seven Angels is very frantic. The rhythm is all over the place. It's not formulaic. It doesn't really fit in a groove. Like you said, they don't reuse the same parts over and over again. Whereas I would call Misery Signals more progressive. It's rhythmically layered, and they repeat parts, right? I always think of that interview with Mike Kennedy from VOD where he talked about the recording of the first album, where he said, it was after we recorded the first album that I realized that I could repeat a part once or twice. I don't need to always go to a new riff. And lastly, the production. You go from this raw volatile mix that Chin did to this nice, expansive, polished presentation that Devin Townsend does.
And
And
I think a band like that with the talent they had needed that at the time. Because if you take the Seven Angels production on Of Malice, I don't think obviously it's still a great record, but I don't think it hits as perfect as it does.
no, no.
Yeah,
We need
Devin
to, I
killed
don't
that
think,
record, man.
have we deep dived on Of Malice and the Magnum Heart? Because that's a perfect album to me.
No, we're doing it next though.
Okay, we'll do that next. That's perfect. So the other thing to come away from here is the members that were no longer with Misery Signals, they still were around the scene and they played in different bands. Matt Matera played in Dead to Fall. He was on A Villainy and Virtue.
Yeah.
Jared Logan did some demos with Martyr AD. Right, there's all
Oh
the Jared
yeah.
Logan demo sessions, which are
That's right.
floating around Soulseek somewhere. Burning Empires. So the band members went around and they played different places, but it was never that Seven Angels Seven Plagues album was lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, it really was,
And
man. I mean, it's one of them records where it's like you're glad that it's there and you're glad you can listen to it, but you're sad that you didn't get anything else. It's just a really shitty. I mean, I'm glad that we got that record, but goddamn, did I want another one?
oh, absolutely. Again, this is one of these reunion shows that name your price, guys. You get Matt Mixon, you get the original lineup. Maybe not Timo Rios. I would probably get Matt. I would choose Matt Mixon because I like his
Yeah,
vocals better. Name your price. Name your
I'm
price, name your
sure someone has
festival.
tried it before.
Bob Wilson, if you're listening, bring them to FYA next year. Please.
Listen, you get them in FYA, you'll get my ass down there.
Tim has got the extra room in our did I tell you we had a bizarro Airbnb that had like a murder mystery inside it? Like you could
No,
play the game in there, and there was a giant JBL speaker on a stand with a microphone, and yeah, of course I connected my phone to it. We were all sorts of inappropriate, but aside from the air conditioning all working, the place was great. So yeah, Bob Wilson, if you're listening, please get Seven Plagues to play FYA. That'd be great. Tim, let's take this one home. When we look at when we go back and look at what happened with metalcore and where it actually went, this is basically patient zero for all of modern metalcore. They redefined that archetype that includes melody, and they prove that you can include melody but not be sugar-coated, not lose the intensity, not come off as insincere, and you can have some emotional depth with playing an aggressive type of music, with an aggressive type of singing. They also proved that aesthetic, right? They borrowed it from jazz. Um, their influence apparently is still bouncing around the Milwaukee scene, where that visual impact, that branding, that style is still noticed. Lastly, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the whole vinyl resurgence. So in 2025, Jhazmyne's Lullaby came out on vinyl for the first time through Be Best Records. It was remastered and released in multiple variants, which is always great for the vinyl nerds because this introduces a whole new generation of people to a band that they might not have heard of earlier.
Is there a link for this? Because I need that.
No, I don't think I have one. Hold on.
Yeah, because I will buy that right now. I need that. It's funny because when we first started this, I was looking at my vinyl on my vinyl stuff, and I was because I could see it from right over here. I'm like, do I have that on vinyl? And now I don't think I do, but I need it.
Here we go. Hold on.
They were one of the
Opening.
bands. I got one of the hoodies when they redid them. I guess they were done without Matera's or the band's okay. I forgot who did it, but they sent it. I got an XL. It was a fucking schmedium.
Oh,
It's so small that Brianna's daughter wears it. That's how small it is, and she's fucking 12.
there is I found merch now, has a Seven Angels, Seven Plagues. It looks like all the vinyl. Is this a CD or is this vinyl? What does this mean?
Yeah, I don't want the CD. I think I already have. I think I have the CD.
This says compact disc, but
Ugh.
it's 40 bucks.
Oh,
So
fuck
it's got to be
that.
vinyl. Yeah, this is vinyl. There's only one left. It's 40 bucks. It's half blue, half white. I'm not sure if this is compact disc or not. You'd have
Yeah, I
to
don't
ping them.
want to. Yeah, I don't want to order that. And I
Yeah, I
wonder if
want to
there's
be, I'd
probably
be
one on
pissed off.
Discogs. I guarantee Discogs or eBay has one.
Well, I would guarantee. Let me look. Yeah, well, we're doing some live shit right now. So, Seven Angels, Seven
It
Plagues,
remind me when we're
vinyl.
done this. I totally forgot I had something to show you, but I can't show it on here.
Uh,
It's not like inappropriate, but I don't want to put I don't want to put it on here.
I get you. Let's see here. Yeah, there was a bunch on vinyl. Shop 15 listings on Discogs.
Nothing.
All right. Well, it's loading or it's trying to load. There we go. Be Best Records, 80 bucks, 90 bucks, 100 bucks, 80 bucks, 85, 50, 55. Um, 75, 75. There's a whole bunch
Damn.
all through Discogs. 250.
Holy shit.
What? And a lot, and it's all coming from Europe.
Mm. So then
All
you're
of it's
paying
coming from
40
Europe.
for shipping.
Yeah. Well, this one is where is the cheaper one? 75 with 550 shipping from Jersey Records.
That's not bad.
No, it's not bad at all. It doesn't say
I'll get
this.
drunk one night and order it.
Yeah, it's like my $100 Final Resting Place hoodie. Uh, So anyway, the album comes out on vinyl, which for the fan base that was looking for it, they finally get it. For the people that never heard it, that are vinyl nerds, they finally discovered this band. Um, and there was apparently a release of rarities and early Cast Ahead Seven Angels, Seven Plagues recordings via Sands of Time in 2004, 2024. So let's look for that.
Soul
Sands of
Seek.
Time, Cast Ahead 2024.
Pulling up Soul Seek.
Okay, so it's a prelude to a perfect score, four songs, and then it's five cast ahead demos.
Okay. Well, we will get that.
And what is it? Early raw, previously unreleased recordings from both bands, including a Seven Angels, Seven Plagues live practice session without vocals, and Cast Ahead.
Okay. I'm down with that.
Hello, Soulseek. We will find you. Okay, back. Let's wrap this up. So, uh,
Let's do this. Out of 10. It's a 9 for me.
it's either an 8 or a 9.
Best song.
Oh, Away with Words.
I think mine's got to be A Commentator's Despair. Is that what it's called?
Is it the second one? Third song? Which one was that?
Let me pull this up. Hold on.
The Commentator's Despair. That's track 3.
Yeah, that is the best song on the record, in my opinion. Great track. Just filled with all types of good stuff. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I swear I love this album. I remember rushing out to buy the Misery Signals EP when I learned that this band became that band, and I remember getting that EP and going, "Holy shit, this is great!"
Yeah,
So good stuff. Everybody, go check this stuff out. I mean, this band they put out one full length and one EP, and their influence not only in the Milwaukee hardcore scene, but in hardcore and metalcore overall. They mix this volatile, frantic, explosive sound with clean parts with pianos, with acoustic, and stop start rhythms. They were the progenitors of a lot of the stuff that you love today. And while it's a shame that through tragedy and all that other stuff, the band never stuck around as long as we would have liked them to. This is truly an influential album that everybody should listen to and understand what came from it.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Do yourself a favor and listen to it. Seriously.
Actually, I think we're going to stop recording. I'm going to go listen right now. All right, everybody. New episodes every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern. Find us on r/new metal, Instagram, Twitter, New Breed _ podcast, newbreedpodcast@gmail.com. 267-297-4627 for your audio complaints. New episodes every Wednesday, reaction vids. We're recording some now, so they'll be back on Fridays. We're also doing some short form stuff, so check us out on YouTube as well. I know a lot of people don't have the time or the attention span to watch a full hour-long episode. Check out one of our 5 to 6 minute clips. You might pick up some interesting parts of an episode that you really enjoy. Check out our merch store. It's linked in the show notes. We have Death to False Nu Metal hoodies in stock and shipping immediately. All right, everybody. See you next week. Cheers.
Later.